why do you think Joe Biden and the Democrats, I mean, I've got that theory about Joe Biden sort of trying to save his soul, but why do you think the Democrats did this? Was it really just to juice up the census or get more voters?
I think it's complicated. I try to understand everybody's perspective even when I disagree with them strongly. I think the most obvious thing is that it completely distorts the democratic process in this country. When you let in millions upon millions of people, some of them will eventually get the ability to vote. It certainly distorts the congressional maps. And so I do think that they were using immigration to seize control illegitimately of the institution of this country. Some of them would say that openly, by the way. They would actually say, we want these new people to come in because we can't win the votes of the people who are already here, so we're going to import new voters to replace them. I think it's really a disgusting way to think about immigration. But
so in regards to this statement, in regards to immigration, it becomes inherently clear that these people continue to spout rhetoric, especially with loaded language, where it contradicts reality. When it comes to immigration, Donald Trump actually had quite a surge for the Republican Party in regards to Latino voters in 2024. And in his initial election, his first run, had significant turnover for Latino voters. So for Donald Trump and his administration to say that illegal immigrants contributed to voter fraud, which with unsubstantiated facts that even the Heritage Foundation disproved and proved as misinformation, that there was no, and even if there was voter fraud, it was 0.00001% that could have affected votes and the election as a whole. So for these entities and audits to come out and say there's been no voter fraud that can significantly affect the election when it comes to the 2020 election that, he lost, it's nothing but more misinformation that J.D. Vance, Justina Diva, is spouting out here. So the fact that Donald Trump continues to pout about 2020 and losing, you also have to think about the fact that Latinos voted for him in a big way in 2020, in 2024, and in 2016. He was actually one of the largest Republicans in the modern era to have the Latino vote swing his way so much that it created a practically half-half demographic of Democratic Latinos and Republican Latinos. So are you saying, and it disputes his unsubstantiated facts that Latinos are the issue. It disputes his unsubstantiated facts that illegal immigrants contributed to voter fraud because there's no substantiated facts of that, let alone illegal immigrants can't vote. So all of these things that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance continues to spout on the daily with this misinformation and rhetoric and loaded language that misrepresents reality is harmful and it's untrue. And again, J.D. Vance sitting in this interview stating that immigrants were the problem in the elections. And it's just not true, especially when Latinos and immigrants who came to this country legally and voted for Trump in large numbers. So again, it's disproving any sort of allegations from this administration that voter fraud occurred in 2020 as well as 2024. Because Donald Trump, again, got the big swing in regards to Latino voters and even misrepresented communities. So it's complete and utter bullshit. More lies.